Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. I'm here with the coach, John Brent.
And I'm here with the vet, Mr. Ian Griffin.
What is going on, Coach? Man, it's a great day. We got a packed house.
I know I see this. I see a bunch of good-looking military guys. I feel like I'm out of sorts. I shouldn't be here with all this greatness, all these service people. I feel like I'm about to learn something, maybe even some new curse words. I hear a lot of people in the Army and Navy, Air Force, Marines always curse a lot.
Yeah, I think we can fill you in on those curse words for sure. So let me introduce them to you, Coach. So the first one we got here is a guy named Tom Krupp, who I served with a long time. I think we got more shenanigans than any two service members ever could. So go ahead, Tom. Let's hear a little bit about yourself here, and I'm going to throw a couple pictures up while you talk.
Yeah. So first of all, John, I don't ever curse. Don't ever do that. So
okay.
It's not going to happen.
Wow.
Well, we got the pictures already.
Wow.
I thought you could just throw up a swear word, Sergeant Major. Yeah.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. So we're trying to do that. But man, no, thanks so much for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. Season 2, no less. Congratulations to both of you. That's absolutely fantastic. And been watching what you guys do, and I just think it's fantastic. So the only thing I want to do is just say real quick, I think it's worthwhile to say, like, for real, I want to authentically say, I have known, you probably find out that I've known Sergeant Major Ian Griffin for quite a while, since I first came in, the military as a lieutenant. And he was my, first platoon sergeant, really, from the get-go. And so all my failures are basically his. So, so let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, I don't dispute that.
So, it's shared responsibility. So, but for real, so Ian could be doing anything. I mean, he's obviously, retired on the top of his game and making things happen. And so, for me to see, Ian doing this, project like this, and having people on and really promoting other people, because I mean, already both you guys uber successful and taking time to do this, I think is it's really huge. I mean, you guys are beacons. It's it's a huge thing to do, to put your time against these types of things, and people generally don't do it. And so I'm really in awe of guys like you, frankly. And it just goes to show that I'm just happy to have been able to continue a relationship with Ian over these years, because it makes me feel good selfishly that I think that there's either two things. One, he's still got a lot of work that he's got to do with me. And that the mentorship piece is not over yet, which is absolutely true. Or two, the friendship piece has developed, and because of just the great human being that the Sergeant Major is. And I know you see that, John. I know that you have to be exactly like that in order to, have a relationship with Sergeant. So I wanted to put that out. So don't cry yet. Yeah, okay, I appreciate it. Because you are a crybaby.
So real quick, I want to put a picture of you up here with something that's near and dear to me. And that's us in Afghanistan with my oldest son, and he only been in theater a couple of days. And I remember when you even had him over the house when he was like real little and such. And it's kind of strange how our family's evolved. And we've done a lot of things together when you think about it. We've been to Italy together. We've been to the Bridge of Remagen together. We've been to Afghanistan together. We've been to whatever the damn place is that's former Russia that was north of Afghanistan together. And we've done some pretty freaking cool crap, you know, and that's kind of strange that it turned out that way. And I mean, I even named my son after one of your sons. I mean, because I just thought it was the coolest name ever, you know. So anyway, Tom, it's freaking awesome to have you on here. And I'm excited about this.
I'm thanks for inviting me for sure. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to throw it over to Andrew now. Andrew, I used to work with, and Andrew, we were in the 541st together. He was in the 24 Trans, which you can't hardly see it, but it's right there in the video. Anyway, and we were over in Fort Riley, Kansas together, and he's done a lot of great things with the Army. And I want to throw it over to Andrew for him to talk for a few minutes, and then we're going to get on to moving on to with the show. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. Ian, just like Tom said, there's probably a whole lot of mentorship I probably missed out from you, but I'm glad that we were able to stay in touch with one another, and you know, it's been a pleasure. Went from Fort Riley up to Alaska, got to jump on the lovely Malamute drop zone a plethora of times. I was even blessed to have my company commander land on my head. That was pretty interesting. You know, quite a big area, but you know, she found my noggin. But you know, from there, you know, hit Hawaii, did a lot of good training with the wolfhounds over there. So that was pretty interesting working in a FSC for them. And now I'm currently stationed in Fort Lewis, Washington. I got my stepson, my wife, and then our 3-year-old toddler, Johnny. He's floating around here somewhere. But it's been really, really nice. I've been working with, when I first got here, I was with a composite truck company, 523rd CTC out of the 13 CSSB. And after 3 years, it was just kind of time to just, you know, take a knee and, you know, kind of fall back and let some of the younger guys kind of take the lead for a while. So I interviewed with the Soldier Recovery Unit, and I'm a squad leader there now. And I got to tell you, some of the best soldiers that I've worked for. It's very, very rewarding. It's always nice to see the soldiers that, you know, move on from the military and, you know, watch the things that they've accomplished. But just like anything, you know, with a soldier comes a little bit of trouble. And I tell everybody the same thing. It's a different kind of stress, but whew, oh my God, they weren't kidding whenever I interviewed, man. Good Lord.
So, Andrew, I want to put a picture up real quick, and I think the coach has something for you, okay? Go ahead, Coach.
No, go ahead with the picture. I want to see the picture.
So what do we got here, Andrew? Because I think we got some contention here on this here. Who is this?
So I was told that was, you know, Iron Mike, and that's where I was told to meet my VP. Whenever we're actually getting a article written in the Ranger newspaper on Fort Lewis, and that's where we were told to go meet. So that's what I identified it as. I can't lie, but I'll be more than glad to go take a picture of the plaque for you.
No, I believe you, but Tom, and I've been at Bragg, and he's got an Iron Mike from Bragg. Let me close yours out a second here, and that's Iron Mike that I know, that all those braggers know, and go run around Iron Mike, you know, and all that other stuff.
You know what I think?
Can somebody explain to me what that means?
Iron Mike. I'm gonna throw it over.
What is that? There might be some people that don't have a clue.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'm just seeing it is his Iron Mike is the start, and mine's the finish.
Well, I'm gonna put your picture back up a second, because your Iron Mike looks like he's saying like something like "follow me," and that's a big Ranger term, is "follow me," and that's kind of what he's doing, is follow me into battle. Now, the one that Tom has, there's a statue on Fort Bragg that's enormous, and the soldiers run around the statue, and people do pictures there. I mean, they come all over the world to take pictures next to Iron Mike. But Iron Mike's supposed to be like this rugged infantryman who can conquer all.
Right. Yeah. So it's about the it's supposed to depict a paratrooper. It was based on Sergeant Major Runyon, I believe, the 82nd. Fact check myself there, but yeah, that's that's who it is. Sergeant Major James Runyon, yeah, that's the model. So it's supposed to be, represent all airborne troopers, right? So he's got that nice, submachine gun there that they used to have as a paratroop gun. So I know that the N likes all that stuff. He's probably got one under his chair right now.
Oh, so
I'll tell you what, Tom, I owe you an answer.
So, Coach, what questions you got here, real quick?
Well, first and foremost, I'll tell you one of the things that you guys, I haven't ever met you guys. I'm a head football coach. One of the things about that I can tell that I love so much about people in the military, my sister and her husband were living in the DC area. He was actually Obama's head mechanic on Air Force One for about 7 years. So he was at Andrews and she was at Fort Meade in the NSA. But one of the things that I always thought that was very similar between being a coach and having teammates is the camaraderie that happens in the military with the soldiers. I mean, they have such great friends and they have such great friendship that have lasted a number of years. I have friends that are mine to this day, and I'm 50 that I had in high school playing sports with, and it's continuing on now as being a coach. So it's one of the things that I love when I see this right here. It makes me smile because you have a lifelong friendship that you guys went and served to protect people like us all around the world. But now that you're back, Sergeant Major Griffin is back here and he's still friends with you guys. It's still, that's what it's all about. I mean, I love that. I love that part about this. So yeah, I want to ask Tom a couple questions first, because I hear you got a couple books out, and I have to ask a question about one of them. When I read the title, I'm like, what in the hell is this? So what does it mean when it says the Demon of Baghdad? Is that right?
John, so I appreciate that. Yeah, no, so yes, a little selfless, promotion here for sure. And again, I just really appreciate you guys and your time here. But yeah. So I did retire and immediately dropped a couple books, but look, anybody can do that right now. So this is a great thing about America and about living in this time, is that you can. I mean, you don't need an agent. I mean, you don't need anything. You can go on Amazon and you can put your stuff out there. So so that being said, okay, it's a vanity project for sure. But yeah, the one you're talking about, the Demon of Baghdad, this one, this was the second one that I came out with. And look at how thick this is, Sergeant Major. You're right. Wow. Kind of thick. Yeah. So anyway,
and it's like font 9.
Yeah. Worked on these for quite a while, and really, like I said, they were kind of things that I'd always wanted to do. And the good thing is that the military kind of allowed me to do that, and allowed me to live like these the life where I was able to get out in different places. Like in the case of this book here, you talk about camaraderie and so forth. So this is so Star Major knows who this is. It's it's a lieutenant that we serve. He's a captain now, but he's out. He's out of the Army now, but he was a lieutenant that we served with. Henry Chan is was the model for this, and I needed somebody who I knew that had certain types of weaponry and stuff of the guy that I was writing about. And it just so happens you can call up a buddy and you give him this wild idea. You'd be like, hey man, can you pose for the and he's like, yeah dude, I'll do it.
So what we're saying is this is not so this isn't a photo of him actually out in battle. That's what you're saying.
No. Yeah, not as thick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can call on your friends, to do these things, and he's willing to do it. And not only that, but super excited about it. And hey, let me give you all this great video and all this great commentary about because the character in this has an MP5. And so he's like, okay, well, what kind it is? What's it got? Because he's got like 4 of these things. Yeah. And he said, hey, here's all the technical things you need to know. And look, you need to put all that in the book. And I did. And I did. So it's in there. So, you try to get authentic. But yeah, that book is, it was the typical action adventure type of thing. I said, I wanted to write something that was fun and that I could share with my boys too. I got 2 boys, both of them in the military, and Ian as well has got his kids. And you think about kind of your project that you want to pass on, and so that was one thing that I thought would be fun to do, and so I worked on that for quite a while. Actually, I started it when I was in Iraq, because obviously it's set in Iraq, but it's it's a sci-fi type of thing. And I know we're going to talk about types of movies that we liked, and I just came to a conclusion that basically I just rewrote one of my favorite movies. I just realized that I hope nobody listening copyright. But anyway,
no, we need as many people listening. But anyway,
yeah. So there's that one. But yeah,
So, Coach, I want to say this, and I'm going to throw up a slide of his 2 books. But before, Tom, the coach and I challenged each other to write a book this year. Now, what you don't know, Coach, is I always joked with Tom that I would write a porno book in the version from the mindset of a woman. And I said it would sell record sales. And we joked about this all the time.
I'll buy it.
Tom, I am not writing that book. I'm telling you right now. So I'm writing a different book. Maybe later, maybe that might be my second book. I don't know. But I'm going to start off with something more traditional. Let's just say that. So,
hey, as a good friend, as a great friend,
Can't hear you, Coach. You're muted.
I said,
go ahead.
Hey, as a great friend, that I will pose for the.
You'll post with the cover. Too easy. We just got to get you some locks, like a Fabian or whatever that guy's name was. So let me throw this picture up here real quick. And these are his books, The Ironhand and The Demon of Baghdad. And when it says The Confessions, the first thing I think of is something probably I shouldn't be thinking of. But anyway, but I'm going to talk about The Ironhand for a second. And anyway, so I did a little studying on this, and there's 2 major things that I got out of this. Whoa, this dude's a freaking character. And I want to know how long it took you to write this and to do all the work on it. But so there's a famous saying in Germany, in English, you say, kiss my ass. But in Germany, you do not say that. What you say is, he can lick my ass. And this dude, the Ironhand, is the guy that came up with that phrase. Wow. He can lick my ass. Supposedly he was a vulgar guy. I don't know. But anyway, that's the one thing I got out of it. And then the other thing, and I just want to read this because I think this is very important to this book. And then I'm going to let you go off of it. There's a professor, Professor Anderman from Freiburg, that wrote, with this novel, Tom Krupp offers a contemporary literary processing of the biography of, I can't say the Ironhand's name, but Goetz van Berlichingen, which has been moving for centuries. If I see it correctly, it's the very first ever been written across the Atlantic, meaning it's the first American to ever write about this guy, which hey, that's a freaking awesome feat. So Tom, let's hear about it.
Yeah, wasn't that was incredible that Dr. Onderman was willing to take a look at it and write a little thing on there, and so the first American that ever wrote and mentioned him though is actually Mark Twain. So Mark,
really,
yeah, and so that's how I learned about him. And so you go to Germany and you go to all these castles and you don't really know too much about it if you haven't studied it. And frankly, unless you're looking for a specific class on German history, you're not going to find it unless it's all about World War II, right? That's what it's all about. And so this character, who he was an absolute character, and he lived in the 1500s in Reformation Germany, right when the Reformation was happening. Martin Luther was out there posting his 95 Theses, and all these things were going on. and it's basically was the decline of the nobility. And so he was a feudal baron. So many things happened to him, and we know about it because he wrote a biography, or he wrote an autobiography, or someone wrote it about him because they kind of think he was illiterate. Some of the professors and so forth, right? So he wrote something about himself, and he wrote it really super hilarious and funny about himself too, which is another interesting thing about him. But I learned about him from Mark Twain. Yeah, Mark Twain wrote in The Tramp Abroad a real funny joke about this guy, because Mark Twain went to Germany in 1800s and late 1800s and stayed in Heidelberg and traveled around, and then he wrote that travel log about it, which is absolutely hilarious. And he wrote about this guy, and he said, hey, there was an iron hand in every town that he went to, and everybody he went to said it was Goetz von Berlichingen's iron hand, right? And it was a joke, right? They were all trying to tell him it was his real hand. And then he was like, oh, and then I rode the horse that he rode. And then I stayed in the bed that he slept in. And I ate the food that he had last night. The guy's been dead hundreds of years, but Mark Twain made a joke, right? And so, And so you can see on, he's Ironhand. Yeah. Cause when he was in his 20s, he lost his sword hand in a cannon exploded on a battlefield out there, and he lost his hand. And then, he went on and he just made an iron one that actually articulated. And so when I read this in A Tramp Abroad, when I was in Germany, we were going to Heidelberg, and he said, let's stop at this guy's castle because it's still there,
No way.
And, and so we stopped there and we stayed there. And Nicole, the kids were tiny, but we stayed there. And that was when, dude, I was a lieutenant, and that was the first time that I was like, okay. And that kind of started the seed, because I couldn't find anything anywhere about this guy. And it's true. Everything. And you asked Ian how long it took. Dude, this took forever, dude. Since I was a lieutenant, I didn't really start writing it until 2010, when I was on the second time I was back there, living in Hohenfeld, in Grafenberg. So I really started writing it then, because there was just nothing on him. And the hits go on with him. He yelled interesting things that are now hits and stuff. Goethe, who's the Shakespeare of German language, wrote Faust and some other plays, of course, very famous. So he wrote a play called Goetz von Berlichingen. That's a play, but it wasn't really based on anything that was historically relevant. It was Goethe coming up with kind of a tragic hero story. So he wrote that. So he's very famous in Germany. It was very famous. They do this. They redo his play every year at his castle in Juxhausen.
How did I miss this?
But you miss all these things if you don't, get in there. And I had no idea until I started doing it. So, it took a long time to write, and it's super boring because I put it full of so many details of things that I found out about it. So, if you can work yourself through that, good for you. I would tell you, if you the one redeeming thing, if you go to the back of it, there's a historical timeline, and that's probably worth the price itself, because that took me forever to piece that and it's all about the events that happened during that time frame. And for someone, of course, obviously you found out, you probably I'm a big history nut. Those things are interesting to me, so I find them endlessly interesting. And so you have to probably also be a masochist to want to read that too. It's pure history, with hopefully a little bit of entertainment.
So go ahead, Coach. You got any questions? Because if you don't, I got something to throw out at the end on this part here, though. But go ahead.
Well, I do. I think one of the things that I think when Ian and I first started talking about writing a book, it's no big deal. I'll just start writing because I've written a lot. I didn't go to college so late in life, and so I love writing. But I got about 2 pages in, I'm like, okay, what am I doing? So it's not as easy as I thought. Just to start writing, especially when you're writing about yourself, or what do you put in, what do you not put in, And so, I mean, when I saw the thickness of your book, I thought, wow, how long did that really take? So when you're explaining that it took a while, it gives me hope. Ian's trying to tell me I need to write a book in a year. How am I going to write a book in a year? I can't write a book in a year.
Well, some people can do it, Coach. I mean, mine is just, you can say, because both of them have a lot of history in them. And so half the time I found that, these things were cathartic to me to research too. So I spent half that time researching, And a lot of people, I've read some stuff about how to, write novels and things. And there's a million ways to do it, of course. But I mean, I don't think you're wrong. Any way you want to do it is the right way. For me, it just took a long time because one, it was a big process. I didn't really have dedicated time to do it, so, I was still on active duty too. So both of these books were done, on the weekends and stuff like that when, it's always a time thing, right? I mean, when you're doing other stuff, you're coaching
Right.
and things. And, I mean, your summers, your seasons, they're booked, man. I don't know how you would do it. So good luck to you.
Yeah. Well, hey, Vet, don't you have some information? I'm interested about the nonprofit with Andrew. Tell me a bit about that.
We're going to hit Andrew up here real quick. But first, Tom, how can we get your book? That's what we want to know.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're on Amazon. So they're right there on Amazon, which is a great thing. I want to tell you guys too, you can, they got all these great apps and things that you can go and, you can download from Amazon Kindle Direct. So mine are all on Amazon. So, you can just search TD Krupp, right? And you can search the names of any of these and they'll pop up and, you can get them on Kindle. But if you are going to publish, super easy way to do it. And, it's interesting because there's a big shift, I think, with just, publishing and things. And I want to get, I guess, all into, books and sales and things. Obviously, I'm not making any money off this. I mean, I just said that I put 10 years into making it. I don't know how I'm going to get that back, So it's it was a labor of love is what they were, but of course, any little bit, helps. I think it's great. And for me, it's just, it's the coolness. For me, it was really the coolness of being able to get on there and order something and have it in your hand. That is something that you did, And for me, it's more that accomplishment than anything else. That little bit of self-servingness there.
So what you're saying is writing a book and getting paid is like doing podcasts. You don't get paid nothing.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but your guys is a way more worthy endeavor for sure.
I don't know about that. So Tom, we're gonna put you on pause for a few minutes, and we're gonna hit Andrew because Andrew's making a supper tonight, apparently, and he got the little one there. But so Andrew, tell us about the ride home. We want to hear about that.
So it all kind of came to be one night after Sergeant First Class list come out, and I'm was really excited because I'm like, oh, okay, I graduated SLC, I graduated from college, got my bachelor's degree. That's going to set me apart from everybody else. List come out, didn't get selected, and I was just extremely frustrated. So I was sitting at the kitchen table watching the Golden Girls, drinking a cup of coffee. I'm like, I think I'm going to do something that's a little bit bigger than the Army and bigger than the rank and everything like that. And it just kind of hit me that, there were too many homeless veterans or too many homeless individuals around the Washington area. And, unfortunately, statistically, you're looking at almost 40,000 veterans, facing homelessness every day. And there's a lot of people that do marches for suicide awareness and things of that sort. So I had taken into road cycling, and I figured that this would be a good opportunity for me to do something for people that didn't have the opportunity to better take care of themselves. So later that afternoon, a buddy of mine, the gentleman that was in the picture with me, he's one of my road cycling partners. He come to the house, and he's pulls me outside. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to do it with you." And sure enough, you post something on Facebook, it pretty much becomes gospel, and put the word out a little bit. Started making a few connections, and here we are. And it's been nice. I got USA Cycling on board. I have a local personal trainer named John Ott, who owns a company called Yep Strength, who's been working on diet programs and weight training programs to get me physically fit enough to ride the 2,300 miles. And it's just been one little step forward more so than the other. And little by little, I'm finding out that more and more that my family's been very supportive. My wife, she'll say, "Oh, I get it. You're tired. Oh, boo-hoo, but you need to get out on your bike in the afternoon after work and get at least 15 to 20 miles." And it's like she's 100% right. And I do my best to get out there as much as I can. So so far so good. But she has her CDL, so she's been up and down the West Coast a lot. So she's helping as far as the route's concerned, from Washington down to Dallas, and then my hospitality professor at Troy University. She gave me in contact with one of her former students, who's a regional manager for Dave & Buster's. So Dave & Buster's in Auburn, Washington will essentially send us off, and Dave & Buster's in Dallas, Texas will welcome us in.
So go ahead, Coach. You got some questions? Because I got some here in a second.
Very cool. You had to ride a bike how many miles?
2,236, Coach.
Man, that's crazy. I don't like riding bikes. I don't even mind. I don't mind a Stairmaster, but to ride a stationary bike makes my legs burn. So I couldn't even imagine doing 2,300 miles, which is 25 miles a day. Is that what it is?
Oh no, so the average Tour de France rider goes approximately 100 to 115 miles a day. So we're shooting for 100 to 105.
So are you going to do this like the Forrest Gump thing, like start and don't stop till the end?
Carbs.
Or are you going to do this like 300 miles this week and 700 miles next week, or are you doing all one shot?
100 miles a day. The intent is I have
no breaks.
No breaks.
So I'm gonna put on my Sergeant Major hat. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Okay. I don't care about your damn reflective belt, but drink plenty of water. So anyway. Whoa.
The way it's going to work is I have a first lieutenant friend of mine. She's actually reaching out to a lot of the local radio stations that are along the route and in the various towns that we're going to be going through. So that way individuals can track us coming in as we go through, and then we can stop, talk to local businesses, things of that sort. My sister has a coworker who her and her husband are station commanders for American Legions down in Jacksonville, Florida. She's reaching out to the American Legions along the same route, and we're going to have American Legion motorcycle riders escort us down, basically kind of like passing the baton.
Wow. So this is a question I got: is you're raising awareness for the homeless veterans? Is there any money being raised, or how will they get to them if any of that stuff?
So I'm partnered with an organization called Community Lifeline, who provides shelter, warm showers, food, clothing, things of that sort, and an organization called Goetz, both out of the Pacific Northwest. So funds that I raise go to buying materials that they need or supply, and then they get distributed to those two centers, and then they take them to local homeless communities and then distribute from there.
Wow. That is incredible. So What I need you to do, Andrew, is shoot us a link later, and I'll get it out on our page on how we can get it out so people can pay attention to this. What's your date that you're going to start it on? You got a long forecast, from my understanding.
June 1st, 2023 is the day we take off at 7 a.m.
So we can expect you by Christmas down here in Texas.
20 days, Sergeant Major.
Wow, 20 days. Wow. That is freaking awesome. Well, yeah. So tell us your website so we can get it out there to everybody. And then I'm going to get it later and I'll put it on our page as well. And
TheRideHome2023.com.
RideHome2023.com.
Roger that.
All right. That is awesome. Well, Andrew, we thank you for that. And what questions you got, Coach? I apologize.
Well, first thing I want to say is, Andrew, that's an awesome thing to do. I have worked at an organization that used to be CPS Foster Kids, and I got those guys involved in the local, helping the local homeless. And so many people don't realize how many homeless people are in their area. They're usually, hidden away somewhere and you don't even know. And for, it breaks my heart to think that there's homeless veterans. But just to see normal, what we call homeless people that we consider to be just normal Americans is bad enough. So I think what you're doing is amazing. So that's awesome. One of the things that we're going to talk about. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Is this is kind of a fun thing for me because my dad was a huge movie fan. He was a huge John Wayne fan. And he had VHS tapes of almost all of John Wayne's movies. So when I was a kid, I watched them. So when we think about this list, a couple of mine that popped up immediately that I was thinking of military movies were John Wayne movies. So I'll hold those for a minute, but we're going to talk about the top 5 military movies. And to hear it from you guys, that were in the military is going to be something for me, because mine are probably going to be, some wimp movie. I go, oh my God, I can't believe the guy picked this one as a military movie. So this ought to be interesting.
So realistically, I got.
So why don't we start out? Go ahead.
Oh, We Were Soldiers is probably my favorite, followed by Full Metal Jacket. Stripes. That's always a clever one. And not that I'm a huge I don't want to call it sci-fi, but Universal Soldier kind of made me chuckle a little bit, especially being in the military for so long.
Wow, I never seen that.
Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren.
Oh,
You can't go wrong with Van Damme.
all right. So, Tom, what do you have? Tell me what you got.
Well, what's funny is that I was just talking to some 18, 19-year-olds, and I said something about kickboxer or some kind of Van Damme thing, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Like, have you seen the YouTube where the guy does the split across the the two semis that are driving?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we saw that. Yeah, that's Van Damme. Come on now." Yeah, no, that's a great one. When you said Stripes, I immediately thought of Pauly Shore. Andrew, do you remember Pauly Shore's like in the Army movie or something? He was
in the Army now.
He was like a water purifier or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I saw Pauly Shore at a comedy club, and oh my gosh, that dude's aged, and he was funny though, but yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, but last time I remember him was from like that In the Army movie, which is hilarious. Yeah, but that's always good. Comedy's great. And you know what? And I'm like you, Andrew, and John, I kind of shy away from a lot of Army movies because I find myself that guy who's just like poking and saying, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And then I laugh at it all and stuff. But the movies that I watch and I like are all naval movies. Okay. So I like you. Yeah. It's so weird because one, I can't, I don't know if it's true or not, maybe it's true. I don't know what these guys do on their boats. Right. Right. So U-571, I love that movie with Matthew McConaughey when he was young and not so like just crazy. He recently wrote a book, and it's the craziest thing. Go to a bookstore and look at Matthew McConaughey's autobiography. It's nuts. It's just like scribbles and stuff. Okay, I don't even know. It's really interesting. Matthew McConaughey. But anyway, he was in U-571, and I saw this movie, and I think I saw it, Griff, when I was a lieutenant. I had to be, and I had to be around when we were serving together. We came out in Germany because I remember him in that movie, and he plays the XO of this submarine, and I just remember it because he's a lieutenant, and he's like, I'm the XO of whatever ship, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm a lieutenant too, so that's cool, or whatever, right? And then he's got this really cantankerous, crusty old NCO who's like this old sea dog who like whips him into shape when his captain dies and he's got to take over this other boat, right?
That wouldn't happen.
But so that was like, oh yeah, I know this guy, and he's totally like that. So it hit home. And then it's a great show too, because we happened to be in Germany at the time, so there's like an Enigma machine in it. The whole thing is they got this, they're trying to crack the code. And then we went and saw an Enigma machine at the German, in wherever that museum was in Koblenz. It was in Koblenz, the military museum. They had an Enigma machine in there. Remember that? I think you're muted. Uh-oh, Ian, I think you're muted. Sergeant Major.
There we go. Yeah, so one thing, first of all, that was up when we went to Remagen, but the second thing, Coach, I will say this is when Army people watch military movies, it's not like anything you ever seen before, because we act fools in the movie. Everybody gets up there and screams like, shoot him again. And there's no quietness and nobody looking over their shoulder like, shh, that don't happen. It is a freaking party, because it's like, I went with the Air Force Academy and I watched Rambo with Air Force people. And when he freaking hacked them, I'm like, that's how you mother flippers kill a guy. You don't shoot him from the air with a bomb. You kill him with a machete. And they're all looking at me like I'm crazy, because Army guys are like that stuff, man. It's just insane. Absolutely. So anyway, that's the first part.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to say, so when we talk about military stuff and that vein, so here's another one, Coach. So my number one is 300. It's 300. It's about Sparta, the battle. It's Sparta, right? And here's what happened with that.
Great movie.
When I was a company commander, that movie came out in Fort Bragg, and I knew it was coming out, and so I had one of my lieutenants go and talk to the movie theater about getting that movie pre-released and us being the first people to see it on Fort Bragg, and we did. We got a theater. I took my company to see it. We got the day off, and we all went and saw 300. And that's exactly what happened in that movie. We even did a promotion, and we did a during that movie. We had the theater all to ourselves, and it was the most spectacular thing. And I tell you, soldiers still ping me on Facebook about that. They still do. They said it was the most craziest experience, because the whole movie we're yelling. Because you watch 300, and it's just like a gory death thing, right? Where it's just macho men, doing their thing, and you can imagine 200 paratroopers in there just going like, ah! It was incredible. So yeah, it was a show for sure. But I did want to mention the other movie that I gotta say is Predator. So Predator. Look, now I just realized that I wrote a book, and I just rewrote Predator. That's all I did. I didn't
tell Arnold
until just now. Yeah, but I love that. Old Painless and everything that has to do with Predator is awesome.
Wow.
So I have some different movies, Coach, and I'll go throw them out there real quick and get to yours. Is that all right, Coach? So I have Saving Private Ryan is number 5.
Oh, that's perfect. I haven't heard one of mine yet, so that's great.
So Saving Private Ryan was the first movie I saw that actually showed a gunfire scene that was similar to combat. It was just everything's coming at you at once. And so I really like that. The Longest Day, because it's so historically accurate. A movie called Gardens of Stone about people who worked at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and a young guy that wanted to become an officer. It's got D.B. Sweeney and James Earl Jones in it. Full Metal Jacket. And then I got to say this one here is Gladiator. And when Tom and I were in Germany, he was pestering me, says, let's go get the tattoo of what was it called? S-Por on our shoulders. Let's go do it, Griff. Come on, man. Let's go do it. And ain't no way I'm putting a bumper sticker on this Ferrari. I'm telling you that right now. But he was all for that. He almost talked me into it, to be honest.
Yeah, the Senate and the Roman people. Yeah, that movie was great too. Yeah, I love that one.
So what do you got, Coach?
Well, I tell you what I have is, of course, like I said in the beginning, that my dad was a huge John Wayne fan. And I remember the first time that I actually saw the movie Green Berets, I was like, wow, I love the movie Green Berets. It's still that when it pops on TV, I still want to watch it. That and The Sands of Iwo Jima are like two of my favorite all-time John Wayne movies. So I don't know if you've ever seen The Sands of Iwo Jima, but it's a great movie. Now this is probably, you're going to probably laugh at me on this because this lets you know that I'm not in the military. But when I heard Tom say that earlier, like you don't know if it's real or not. When I see A Few Good Men, I always stop and watch it because two scenes in there always get me is when Tom Cruise is on the softball field and they come out there and they're trying to get him to make the deal. And he's like, he's acting like he's so stupid. And the girl's like, well, I'm going to go ask someone else to, take over this case. He's like, well, no, you can go right down there to Pennsylvania Avenue and talk to that's my boss down there. I always wondered, did the Navy really say that the president is their boss? I doubt it. But anyway, I always think that's a great movie, A Few Good Men. But a recent movie is Midway. I don't know if you guys have seen Midway, but I love Midway for some reason. I mean, Pearl Harbor was a romantic movie. Midway to me was a great movie. So yeah, and my last one on my list is Hamburger Hill. I always loved Hamburger Hill. No one ever brings up Hamburger Hill. So anyway, those are mine.
Well, Coach, I think we had a good segment today, and I want to give a special thanks to Andrew and Tom for taking the time to come hang out with us. And we had on a person a few weeks ago. I'm going to give them a chance to talk at the end here, but we had Casey Luke come on a few weeks ago, and she got accepted her trip to Haiti, and she's got a thing that she's going to ask for sponsorship. I'll throw it on our page as well in regards to that. But I'm going to go ahead and give it to Andrew. Any closing words you got real quick, Andrew, and throw them out there for us.
So it was pretty interesting to hear Tom mention, Mark Twain. So Mark Twain had a quote that said the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you discover why. So I got about 2 years to finish my why, and then I'll make that my, once I accomplish it, that'll be my third most important day. And the fourth will be whenever I help somebody else discover theirs.
Wow, that's
cool.
Great.
Go ahead, Tom. What do you got?
Oh yeah, I can't compare to that. That's great. I appreciate it. Yeah. Mark Twain's a fantastic one. Yeah, for sure. I didn't know you were going to go intellectual with your movie, Sergeant Major. Okay. I got some intellectual movies too, man. Right?
Let me think.
Yeah. 50 Shades of what? Is that? Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
No, I appreciate it, gentlemen. You having me on and everything that you guys are doing. Again, you guys could be doing anything, and it's really a testament to you guys' character to continue on in this way, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, and I wish you guys all the success with season 2.
That's right. See?
Exactly. Congratulations.
Well, one of the things that I want to say. Thank you. One of the things that I want to say is it's something that I don't see enough anymore, but I always teach. I'm also, you guys, I don't know if you know this, I'm also a high school teacher. The last couple of years I've been teaching inmates that are 18 to 50. But I still tell those guys the same way I told high school, kids that I taught before, is you have to respect your military guys. If you see them, shake their hand, tell them thank you. it was so amazing the other day. There was a guy that was in a wheelchair and he had a Vietnam hat on. I went and talked to him, and I felt kind of bad for a minute because he wanted to continue the conversation more than just normal, because you could tell he was kind of alone. He was by himself. And that's one of the things that I think that we need to do more of, is spend more time with people that are in the military, that have retired and are getting older, because I feel like they miss the camaraderie that you guys have, that I see this laughter and fun that you have. But I think one of the things that happens when we get older is we might not have that many people around us. So I would want to tell anybody that watches this, man, reach out to that veteran, even if it's an uncle, if it's heck, even if it's an aunt. My sister's been in the military. She's retired now, and she's absolutely an amazing individual. But whoever it is, just reach out to someone that's in the military that might be getting a little bit older, that just needs somebody to sit down and tell those stories with, because you guys have some of the greatest stories and some of the greatest relationships that are going on in our country right now. And I think we need to do more of that. So I just wanted to say that, you guys, I really appreciate your service, but also thank you so much for all you do.
So from there, Coach, I'm going to say, to the coach
and to the vet,
stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned.